Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Starcraft 2 Noobs. As always, this is Siltfidamus, and today I tried to do something a little different, and went with the Protoss today. I actually picked them, didn't go random, and the reason for this is I've been having a bit of a losing streak with the Zerg, at least in 1v1, and I just wanted to try something different. And recently what's been really popular and what's been beating me a lot has been Protoss Void Rays, so I decided, let's go have a little bit of fun doing exactly what I hate being done to me. So, you know, just if you saw my Void Ray video, my Desert Oasis video, you'll know. Just get a pylon up about 10 supply, and then as soon as that, and remember, with the Protoss units, when a Protoss builder builds a building, he doesn't have to sit there and construct it. It just comes in right by itself, and your worker can go off and do whatever else he wants. So, just, click and go. And then as soon as he finishes that pylon, he goes off and builds whatever. Goes off to scout while building up my gateway. The strategy I used here is one that it's kind of a hit or miss. If you can get it to go off, it's gonna just destroy your opponent. But if you can't, it just kind of doesn't work, and then your opponent expects it, and you can't really do anything about it. But the strategy I'm using here is called Proxy Pylon, and if you know about it, great. If you don't, I'll explain it here as it pops up. It'll take a minute. In Proxy Pylon, the Protoss have a cool ability where they can change their gateways into warp gates, as we'll be seeing shortly. And warp gates, I think I've explained it before, can kind of just instantly summon anything in and don't take much. So it's a really, I almost want to say cheap, but it's not cheap. I mean, because their units are more expensive than anything else, and they take twice as long to make as everything else. So I won't say it's cheap, but as you can see here, the thing to really make Proxy Pylon work, you have to find an area that your opponent's not going to be able to find easily. And the reason I chose right in here is because of all this brush. And what this brush does is anything outside of this brush can't see inside. So if my pylon's here, and he could line his entire army right here, and if he never entered that brush, he would never see the pylon. And also anything inside the brush can't be seen unless you're in the brush as well. So a neat little trick, which is really helpful. And to go back to the Proxy Pylon strategy, to warp in something, it has to be within the pylon field. It has to be within this little blue square. It has to be within line of sight as well. So you need to have a cybernetics core, which is basically just the Protoss's forge, or it's not really the forge, but yeah, actually, yeah, it is. But it's there, like it trains everything up, and he tries to go with a little bit of a Zerg rush, but it's not enough, and I've got stuff coming in, chrono boosted out, and then in one incident it actually works. Probes are stronger than Zerglings. Zap the buggers long enough to just distract my opponent for me to get some zealots out, and then right back to the line. And then, no point chasing them, they're faster. But get some stalkers up so I can attack from a bit of range. As you can see, I've got Warp Gate coming up, which is what you have to research to be able to change your gateways into warp gates. And it takes a long time, a little over 2 minutes, so you definitely want to chrono boost that out. You're not going to be able to chrono boost in time, like you can't just use one chrono boost, but when you can spare a chrono boost, do it as much as possible. Trapped his Zerglings up, so got him squished, and then he went after there and just started. My stalkers took care of him. But I mean, he played a kind of slow Zergling rush, and it wasn't bad. Once after it didn't work the first time, I prepared for it, and I had warp gates coming in. And then I just started building a bunch of pylons so I could build all my gateways up. A key thing about warp gates is for every warp gate you have, you only can summon one thing per, I guess I'll say cooldown is the most accurate way of saying it. So, if I have one gateway that's transformed into a warp gate, I can only build one zealot per cooldown, or one sentry, or one stalker, or one whatever I want. So, the more gateways you have, the more units you can kind of warp in at one time. So, this strategy is called a 4-gate proxy pylon, and it's where I'm building up 4 gateways and going to transform them into warp gates, and then I'm going to pop them in right over here rather than way over there and then having them walk. And this way they can just instantly and then, very short walk up into my opponent's base. So it's a lot of people call it cheap. They call it kind of a noob strategy. But hey, guess what? We're noobs, and what do noobs do? We do whatever it takes. We do what works. And he goes and builds an expansion way down there. I guess he doesn't want me to find him out. But, oh, there's the gateways. I think they look so cool, like just miniature black holes and stuff. And Protoss units always look pretty cool. Protoss everything looks cool. But regardless, there's the other gateways. And as you can see, I've already got him coming down over here. Even spot his little Zergling rush, but stay hidden. If he can't see me, then he shouldn't need to. Then my strategy still works for a while. And there's some more stalkers. See, they come in really quick, but there's a long cooldown afterwards. They can't build anything else for several seconds after being used. It's 32. It depends on what unit you bring in, but like just Zealots is 23, which is only 10 seconds slower. So, and they're not quite viable. I mean, you still don't want to warp gate in when you're being attacked because your opponent's still, they come in bit by bit. So if your opponent decides, hey, let's see, as you'll see here, I still get taken out. It's just like building a building. If you attack the building when it's first being built, it goes down pretty quickly. Of course, when you have 3 of them coming in against one little Zergling, it really doesn't matter. And then, the 3 of them just go to town. I've got 4 now, and I think I come in with 4 Zealots over here soon. But I did decide to go with the Stargate over here and get some Void Rays up, just in case my proxy pylon didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to, or if it just wasn't enough to push through, or I found he had something that just kind of beat up my proxy. And this actually worked pretty well. Because I had so few units over at my base, I'm pretty sure my opponent thought that this army had traveled over there, like I'd traveled across the map, and still didn't expect a proxy pylon. Now, if you can push your advantage, push your advantage. Don't just sit there and, send them every now and then just so your opponent thinks, oh, he won't expect a proxy pylon now. No, you still want to push your advantage when you have the advantage. If your opponent has no defense after a point, keep attacking. Don't just sit there. That's just gonna, you're just prolonging the game for the sake of prolonging the game. So I had so many minerals at this point. It's just there's 8 zealots, 6 zealots, 6, and my stalkers get wiped out. He had roaches, so I was, it was a nice forethought to go ahead and sub into Void Rays. Not to say that I'm just abandoning my pylon, but I'm now using it more just to apply pressure, really quick pressure. He saw the gateways, so he knows I has them, but he did not see the pylon yet, so he still doesn't know that I have my little pylon down there, and that's what's bringing in all my units. So, just Zealots, they're pretty damn strong. And then some Stalker support just seals the deal. That is one thing I like about the Zerg, though. They can get units out really quickly. They can only do it in small little groups, but they only really need to. Void Rays up. Second one very close to being on the way. In fact, it's here right now. Go after a spawning pool. No spawning pool, no queen. No queen, very, very, very slow economic advancement. So, I kind of abandoned my proxy pylon. I put in 4 zealots just as kind of security. If anything shows up, I'll take it out pretty quickly, hopefully before they can notice the pylon. Because I can see out, he can't see in. Thankfully, at least for a short distance. And of course, if I find out he has some anti-air, I'll bring in the zealots to kind of do something about it. And in fact, I take out the spawning pool, get them charged up a bit, and just start taking out drones, and he just quits. No anti-air. He decides, it's like I said, it's pretty frustrating. So, yep, there's Proxy Pylon with a little bit of Void Ray help, and that's how you're going to do it if you want a quick kind of little sneak attack as the Protoss. I'm going to be playing as them for a little while, and just because I'm kind of, tired of getting battlecruiser obliterated, but, variety is the spice of life. So, there you have it. That's how we do it as the Noobs, and this is Siltfidamus, and I'm signing out.